Alright, good morning everyone. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I've been asked to help a bunch of people with Revit because a lot of people aren't even sure how to make walls, how to adjust things, how to add different blocks. So I'm just gonna have a little tutorial here, a little video tutorial to get everyone started with their major project for studio, just so that we can get a little bit ahead of the curve. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I've already opened Revit. Right here's my Revit. I'm just gonna go for a new template here. As long as it's in metric, you should be okay. Um, yeah, just open a metric template. But even if you open one that's not metric, I'll show you in a sec how to change that, because I do want to double check pretty much all the time that that my units are right. Every time you start a project, check your units. Pretty straightforward. I'm working in half screen right now. I would say get used to working in half screen as well, just because it's a good tool to have. But here's the project unit. So you'll always start with architecture tab here. This is your main tab. This is where you got your walls, windows, doors. That's really all you need to make a building, very basically. But we do have to double check the units. So we're going to go to manage and then project units. And over time, you'll kind of remember where everything is. It can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but there's only a few like bare bone things you gotta know at the start. So here are the project units. It's got different ones for different things like volumes, meters squared. But we're only concerned about length here, and length is in millimeters, so we're good. We want it to be millimeters, so we're good to go. So the next thing I'm gonna do, this is just what I like to do. Is I like to change my elevation constraints. This is your project browser here. It tells you all of your views. It's just pretty much most of your views. I wouldn't worry about anything other than that for now. So I'm going to open up the north view. And these are my levels. You guys know what levels look like. So I'm just going to rename these to level 1 and level 2. And I'm actually going to also add in a new level. So here. So that's level 3. And I'm just going to add it in the wrong way so I can show you guys how to adjust it if you guys do. So I line that up, and actually if I go like this, they all move. Very nice, very neat. And I'm going to change the height as well. So you just do that by clicking on it. Very simple. Very simple. But these are my levels. So my first floor is going to be like this, and my second floor is going to be like that. And then I'm going to actually make the walls. So the second thing I've done is to open the studio site plan. So this is mine for my project that me and my partner have to work on. But if you guys want to know where it is specifically, it's right here. Right here. We have number 3, so I open number 3. So now I'm going to go to my first floor, where I'm just going to add the rough shape of this bottom floor here to start. And I'm on level 1. I can open level 2 if I wanted to, but I'm just going to stay on level 1 here. That will mean that whatever I'm working on will be viewed on level 1, or at least be worked on here currently on level 1. So I'm just going to click the wall. Don't worry about this drop down, just click the wall. And then once you click wall, this modify thing opens up. And this will happen with a few things. If you try to model in place, or you start messing around with doors or stairs, it'll usually open some sort of like sketching pad here, where you have a bunch of tools like trim, extend, mirror, offset, similar to what you have in AutoCAD. So it gives you like a mini AutoCAD to work with. So it gives you line, but I'm just going to be quick about this and just do a rough rectangle, because my building's a rectangle. Now, the walls. What I want to change is the wall types, because this is just a random default wall type. I want it to be my own, and it's important for you guys to know how to edit the wall. So I'm just going to do edit type, and I'm going to duplicate this so that it's my own. I'm just going to name it to studio. I just need to double check that I'm recording. Okay, good. Studio 3, major project, exterior. Just for exterior wall. Okay. And then I'm going to hit edit. Don't worry about all of this. Revit can be really overwhelming if you're trying to focus on everything. All you need is the bare bones to make walls, doors, and windows, floors, and roofs. That's really all you need right now. As you start working more with this program, you'll be able to learn how to do a lot more. There's a super high skill cap. Try not to overwhelm yourself. But I'm going to hit edit. And it's super nice. It gives you all the layers here, and you can just adjust them how you want. So if I wanted to make this thicker, I can make it thicker. But I'm going to go ahead and just delete all of the outer ones. Don't worry about what core boundary layers are. You don't really need those. I'm going to change this to 300. That's the wall thickness. And that'll be the total wall thickness because I have no other layers as my only layer. I'm not going to worry about the material because it's irrelevant right now. And then we can always change that later. So anyways, that's done. But it only changed this wall. So we're going to go and highlight all of them. And we're just going to select the new wall we made. So these are all the walls. Like, it gives you a lot. Like, a lot of walls. But we're going to just use this one. So now they've all changed to this wall. You can double check by clicking them if you want. Just make sure. So now, actually I'll show you a 3D view. But by default, they're constrained to whatever. So we want to constrain these walls to the right height. So the way we'll go back into level 1 here and we'll highlight these. And right here, the only two constraints you guys should be worried about right now are the base constraint and the top constraint. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it's constrained to the bottom floor, and then the top constraint is unconnected. Which means you can set a value for the height instead of it being connected to a level. So I'm just going to set it to level 2. Now, if I were to go to, so let's see. In 3D, you can see that it's cut off at the level 2 marker. So if I go north and I change the height, oops. So if I change the height here to, let's do 7,000 just for demonstration. I go 3D view, then it's a lot higher. Pretty simple stuff, but it's important. It's super important to know how to do this. We'll set it back to normal. It looks good. And we'll go back here. Okay, so now we have the heights of the walls and the general shape, but we don't have the correct distances. So when you click a wall, it'll give you these little grips on how to, for the distances. So we're going to set those, and by default when you click them, it'll give you just want to set them yourself. So if I click these little tabbies, it'll just snap on the random things, but you can grab them and move them as well. So I'm just going to click and grab because it's less complicated that way. And I'm going to set the distance to what it has up here for my project. And we're going to go with that. Okay. And then I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to set the grips. I'm going to go with 20,000. Hello? Thank you, 0 button. Okay. So now I have the shape, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lock these dimensions in place so that nothing's moving. I know these are right. These should never move. So I'm going to click here, and it says make this temporary dimension permanent, but I'm going to constrain it. So I'm just going to lock it. So I click the lock here, and this is a constraint. So these two walls will always be this distance away from each other. And Revit gives you a nice little tool to see all of your constraints. So if I click right here, it'll put a bit of a veil on my project to show me the constraints. So if I were to close that veil, and I delete this, because this is just a dimension line. So another thing is when Revit talks to you, you should be reading these and understanding these. as they pop up more and more, you'll kind of like know what these are and you can expect them. So this one says a dimension that has lock constraints is being deleted. Da, 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 da. So this pretty much says that you deleted the constraint identifier. You've deleted it. Do you also want to delete the constraint? And I want to say, no, I don't want to delete the constraint. Just delete the symbol. So I can choose to unconstrain as well as delete the symbol, but I'm just going to say okay. That way the constraint is still there. And I can check by going like this. So see how it's still there? We're all good. So then I'm going to do the same thing here. And not sure why. See, like sometimes the grips are like super weird. Like I don't know why it's in the middle, but that's fine. If it wants to be like that, it wants to be like that. Sometimes it gives you extra ones, which is nice too. But anyways, we'll go like this, and then we'll make this one permanent as well. Boom, there we go. Click the lock, and then we're gonna delete this. And then yeah, do you want to delete the line or just the constraint? We're just gonna say okay. We're just gonna double check that we have both constraints. So we're good to go. We have both. Okay, so now, and I like to flip back and forth 3D view, especially when you're new. It's good to see what you're working with in 3D because it just gets a lot less confusing. And if you make any mistakes, it's very obvious when you're in 3D. Like let's say you forgot to fix the wall height or something, you'll notice. So we're gonna go level 1, and that's the right stuff. So now we're gonna go to level 2. We're gonna make the second floor. So I'm gonna go level 2, and then I'm gonna click wall again, exactly how we did before. But I'm just gonna randomly place it. If you place it on a wall, it'll actually snap and constrain to the wall. Sometimes. So see when I put it down, there's a little lock symbol. I just wouldn't play with that, to be honest. For now, I'm just gonna make it generic in a random spot. Make sure I'm not snapping to anything. Just right there. Okay. But what I am gonna do here is I am going to take these grips for this wall. I'm gonna make sure we're to the outer portion, and I'm gonna set the offset. And I think for this here, we're just gonna double check. So now I'm in AutoCAD space, putting a dimension here. Actually, I'm missing a little bit of information. I'm just gonna add that. And then that is 200. So, okay, I think that's 200. Yeah. Okay. I just want to double check because it's in 3D, but I'm not sure if it snaps correctly when it's in 3D, but I think it does, so we're okay. I'm going to change this to 200, and we'll see if it looks weird. Like, that looks weird. That doesn't look right. So I'm just going to assume that it's 2000. We're going to use our brain here. So that's good. And I know that's right. So I'm actually going to lock this ahead of time again. You don't have to lock everything. It's just for the sake of demonstration that I'm showing how to do this. Because it is a good tool. See, like, every time it pops up, I already know what it's asking. So I'm just going to get rid of it. And these constraints, I can actually organize these to be less invasive if I wanted to. So the overall one, I'm just going to move up there so I can see what I'm working with. I want to close that. That's fine. Okay, so then we have the distance from this wall. That's set correctly. But now I'm going to set this distance from this wall. And again, my snap, you can click and drag these. I think I said that, but just to reiterate. I'm going to set that distance. My 0 key is not working properly. That's okay. And again, I know that's right, so I'm just going to lock it. But you don't have to lock it every time. I think that's going to be the last time I lock it, and we'll see how it goes without locking it. Okay, so that's good. And again, we'll just double check that the constraint exists. Good. And then we'll do this one as well, and I believe it's the same, but I'm not going to assume that. I'm just going to double check. Okay, it is the same. And there's ways of doing this that are faster, but this is the bare bones, which won't confuse you guys. So this will give you guys enough to work with, but not too much to get you guys confused. I hope. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. And then the thickness, we're going with, oops, 2,000, 20,000. Yep, 20,000. Okay, so it's in the right spot. And if we go to 3D, that doesn't look right. And it's because I forgot to constrain the tops of the walls. So we'll do that, and we'll do a box select. But the box select is selecting more than what I want. So if you want to minus, I think it's opposite from AutoCAD, so just be careful. It's something to get used to. I would just get used to it now. You can change the binds if you want to. I would not play with that for a long time, though. We're going to go with Shift to minus select, and then we're going to do a box here. And then we'll do a cross box here just for demonstration. And if I want to add a selection, because if I were to just click this, I have to restart, and don't want to do that. So if I want to add select, it's Control. So you hold Control or Shift, Control, whichever one you need. But now I've got all these walls selected. I'm not even on the right wall. So I'm just going to go ahead and select so I went here because I'm working with walls, and then my studio wall. And then the two constraints that we're concerned about is the base constraint, so it's to level 2, and top constraint is unconstrained. So level 2, we're going to constrain it to the roof here, which would be level 3. I could rename it if I wanted to, but that's okay. It's not super important. But now we have our 2 floors, and I think what we're working on now in terms of pace for our major project is floor plans. So what me and my partner have decided to do is we're going to put in the elevator box, because that is going up and down on both floors. So we don't really want to play with anything until we know where our elevator is. So our elevator went somewhere in the middle, and you guys now know how to constrain it to the center if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste time. But again, these are the wrong walls. So if you guys wanted to make a new wall, actually to make it easier, so let's say it was the basic wall. If you guys wanted this to be a different wall, you know how to do that. We'll do duplicate, and we'll do studio major project elevator wall. Boom, there we go. And I don't know, we'll change the material to brick, whatever. Brick. I'm sure that looks nice. Anyways, so, but the elevator goes from top to bottom on both floors. So we can go into the level that it is, and we're just going to highlight this. And then we're going to go base constraint level 1, and it should go all the way to the top level. There we go. And now it'll go straight up and down through the whole thing. And now we can start working on the floor plans, essentially. So we're not going to add floors or roofs yet. We don't know the thicknesses, but I think they asked us to do an allowance of, I think, 1 meter, 1.2 meters. But we won't worry about that. It's not super crucial right now. But so my partner has given me a rough floor plan for her first floor. But what I'll do here is I'll make a new wall type for interior. So we'll do major project interior. Not sure why there's a 2 there. That's okay. Okay, and then we're gonna change the thickness to 150. I don't know if that's the thickness, but that's just what we're working with. You know what? I'll put it at 200 just to give myself some allowance in case I need more space. But that's okay. So here's our elevator. And what I'll do is I know that we're going to enter into the elevator. So from the entrance. And I think the entrance is going to be somewhere here. So it'll give us a little corridor to play with. Just like that. Whatever, not a big deal. I'm just doing a very, very generic shape here for the design. So if you notice what I did there, so I'll show again real quick. If I put a wall, so actually, we'll show this now. So the other thing you'll be paying attention to with your walls is where they connect to. So if I go here, you'll see it connects at the center of the wall, and I'll just demonstrate that a little bit differently. So finish face exterior, it's snapping on the outside of the wall. So I'll change that again just to show, because it's important. That's doing the center, and then finish face exterior, interior. If your wall's symmetric, it doesn't really matter. But if you do need to change your wall, which you don't actually, so I'm not going to explain it. Just worry about this for now. So it's just like this. Let's see what happens if I do that. Ooh, interesting. Boom. Boom. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That might confuse you guys. But if I have the exact same wall up against the exact same wall. So what I'm doing here is I'm pressing spacebar. It'll just flip the wall based on its location line. So that's what I just did. I hope that didn't confuse you guys. It's pretty simple. But I have a wall here, and I'm going to add the exact same wall side to side. So realistically, it's just going to be one long wall. And Revit understands that. So it's just going to make it the same thing. It's like, okay, well, why do you have the same thing beside each other? We're just going to make it one. So it's really nice for simplifying. But yeah. Then see here, we have that it's a little bit off. So I'll show you guys how I fix that. I just bring the constraint here so that it's on this line. Whoops. I'm just going to delete that. Nope. Okay. And I'm just going to set this to 0. There you go. Now it's lined up. Okay. The shortcut for wall, it's good to know. I wouldn't worry about it. So I'm going to add another line here just to separate rooms. Okay, so now we have a rough floor plan. If you are curious about the shortcuts, usually it'll show, see how it says door, and then right beside it in brackets says DR. So if I press DR, it'll just pop up door. You don't have to press them at the same time. It's just, you just click one after the other, but do it quickly. WA for wall. But anyways, that's how it is. And you can move these with arrow keys. Certain things you want to move with arrow keys, certain things you don't. It depends on how precise you're trying to be. But yeah. I'll do a little demonstration here. So I'm moving these walls, right? But let's say that I know how far away these two walls are going to be from each other. So I'll just quickly constrain that, and I'm going to lock it. Now it's an actual constraint. And I'll keep it visible so we see. If I move this, they both move. So if I unlock it, only one moves. If I lock it, then they both move. Pretty simple. I'm not going to constrain it though. I'll make sure the constraint is gone by going over the veil. See, I only have the 2 left, because that's all I'm really working with right now. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. If you guys have your elevator set in stone, I would lock this. That way you're not moving it by accident, nothing's changing by accident. However you want to constrain it, I would usually do it to the outsides, but I'm just doing a rough demonstration here. That should be good enough, and then these would be constrained to this. I think that's what I did for mine. And then this as well. I'm just going to lock those, make sure they're all constrained. I didn't miss anything. Okay, good. And I'm just going to delete these. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm just going to double check my north. Don't worry about that. Okay, so what we've started doing is we want to make our floor plans, but we only have the rough idea. So we're going to go with a door for the entrance. And we're just going to select the default doors that it has right now. So this is the biggest one. It's not really the kind of door, and these doors are super nice. They just snap into place on a wall. They can't go anywhere but a wall. Like, you can't put them on a roof. They just won't. But we're just dropping in here, and the constraint that you want to be worried about with the door, the only one, is your level. for now. See, there's a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of information you can change. I would just focus on the bare minimum. So the level. Um, yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So if we go to north elevation, actually, we'll go to south elevation. There you go. Now you can see the doors in there. You can move it. You can move it up or down if you want, if you're a psycho. If you've accidentally done that, just change your height there back to 0. That way it's on the level 1 line instead of being 3,000 meters from 3,000 from the constraint. Yeah, just worry about that. Shouldn't really be playing with the height of a door anyways. But anyways, we have a door and it shows on our floor plan. But we don't really like this door. So we're gonna change it. So we go to change the door, but I only have these options. I want to add some more options, because it's just a good tool to have. So we're gonna go insert, and there's a few ways of adding new options. You could go on the internet and get some next custom blocks or families. I won't show you guys that. That's just way too complicated. So we're gonna go load Autodesk family. This is more like an in-game version of getting new stuff. So we're gonna just hit door here, and we're gonna hit enter, and we're gonna look for. Okay, so at the start of these, it gives you a whole bunch of nonsense. This is just the most bare bones keyword. So anything that says door, like a tag door, is gonna show up. So you're just gonna scroll through until you see something that looks like an actual door. Like, these are all details. I'm sure these are gonna be useful later, but not right now. So this is what we're looking for. We get all the doors. We can go shopping. Lots of fun. But I'm gonna go with this. I don't know. It looks like something my building would have. So I'm just gonna download that. And when I go to architecture tab, again, this is your main tab. You're really only gonna be focusing on this for the most part. We're gonna click the door, and we can now change it. Nope. Where is my door? Where is my door? Insert, load. We're gonna try that again. That is bizarre. Oh, you can choose multiple as well. So I'm just gonna click a bunch of these. We're gonna load. Okay. And door. Actually not showing up here. What if I go to component? That is very weird. That is extremely weird. It's not a window, is it? No. Okay, so I was having trouble inserting the new door. Let me just double check this recording again. Okay. So sometimes things will go wrong in Revit. A lot of times things will go wrong in Revit, but you gotta get good at looking up the solution on your own. So different things tend to work. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna go, like, I'm gonna Google my problem, and then we'll see what kind of solution there is on the internet, because that's like 80% of Revit is just figuring out how to solve these problems on your own, because it's such a complicated, such a skill cap program. You guys got to get good at looking up these problems on your own. Anyways, I'm gonna look up the fix, and then I'll let you guys know. Okay, so I found the fix, but it's only a half fix, and sometimes you're gonna get half fixes. Let me double check. I'm recording again. Sorry, paranoia, schizophrenia. But anyways, what I've done is I've actually highlighted a bunch of these doors. So I went into insert, load Autodesk, and then when I hit door, I just got to them because I suspected that maybe the file was corrupted, and sometimes that does happen. Quite frequently, actually, the files do corrupt and become unusable, just for various reasons. I'm on 2024 here. I don't think that plays a part, but it could. There's a lot of things. We're not computer scientists, right? But I selected all of these and I hit load, and then I loaded them in. Oh, and then here's my, oh, not my YouTube. But here's my Google process. I just went, Revit load Autodesk family, not showing new families. These are door families. These are just terms. Learning these terms are really good for looking up your problems, and I think that's why our CAD teacher is so picky on us knowing what everything's called. How come I... Hello, Revit, please. And sometimes it'll crash, and that'll happen sometimes as well. That'll happen sometimes as well. I might have uploaded too many. Okay. Yeah, don't give it too much work to do. Yeah, see, look what I did. But anyway, some of the doors just happened to be, like, the doors we were trying to import had the handles. Didn't work. That's okay. We just can't use them, and that's fine. They don't want to be used. That's okay. So we're just going to use this one. We're going to change it. We're going to do a north view. Or sorry, I'm going to close that view. I'm going to do a south view. And these are all views. If you close them, you're fine. But if you close the last one, then you're closing the whole project. So don't do that. We're going to open up the south elevation again just to see the door. And something fun here is we can see a bit more with these two. So detail level, you got 3 options. We're going to go with fine. So it'll give us lots of details. Very nice. Shows us what's going on. And then we have the, like, the render as you work, essentially, is what this is. So there's different tools for different stuff. We go shaded. We can go consistent colors. Most of them all look the same, to be honest. We'll go in 3D just to demonstrate this. I like to go realistic because it's way more fun to work with. It's a bit more taxing for the PC. And then here it's pretty obvious that we use the concrete walls. We can change that later. And we'll go front view just to check out what we're doing. This isn't like the same as an elevation view, but it's fairly similar. And then each view has their own little, you know, like if I change that, that doesn't mean that this one will change. But we'll work in this for now. So if we change the door, you'll see that it changes. So you can get a good look, get a nice elevation view to pick what you guys really like for your project. You're essentially shopping right now for parts. Just very roughly. These might change. We might get specific doors to do. But for now, we're just doing general layout. I have 2 doors apparently. But anyways. And to change the door orientation, you just click these. Like this will change how it, you know. And you can press spacebar as well. That rotates between the 4 options. But you can also click here if you want to be faster. So I'll demonstrate on a regular door. So if I want that, or that. There's really only 4 options for doors. But we'll go back to normal. Like that. So anyways, we'll go with this. It's fine. We'll go with this one. I've even got garage doors here. I'm actually going to use a generic garage door for this room here. Actually, that's a double door. There we go. Just because this is going to be a cafe, and I don't want a double door, I like the shutting security door. And a garage door kind of looks like that. Like, it's not the exact same thing, but we're not doing anything precisely right now. We're just editing the shape of everything. Everything other than the elevator. It's actually too big for an elevator, but don't worry about that. So what we can do is we can click this and we can just identify what this room is gonna be. So I'm gonna put that room marker, and where that was again in architecture and room. So what I'll do is I'll click it and we'll go cafe. We'll just put cafe. That way we know what it is. And then we're gonna add some chairs and tables just so we know how thick we want this. Like, does it need to be bigger, smaller? Does this have to be wider? We don't know. We don't know until we add stuff. So we're gonna do exactly the same thing we did with the door. Actually, so the way we import stuff like models is here. So we have place component. Only really worry about that. Don't worry about the drop down. So default one is a desk. We don't really want a desk. It's got trees and stuff. It's got default, very bare bones stuff at the start. But we're gonna get our own stuff. We're gonna go shopping again. So we're just gonna go with chair. We'll get some chairs to start with. Actually, we'll start with tables. We'll start with tables. This was like a coffee table, so we'll get that, and maybe we'll get one of these as well. Hopefully these aren't broken. So we'll just go ahead and add one of these, and you can click again to add another one. But if you exit out, so the way you exit stuff is just spamming escape. What I tell people, I usually just spam escape all the time. Like if I'm working with walls and stuff, I just spam escape all the time. You can copy it. You guys know how the copy tool works. You pick an anchor point and then you move it. You can mirror it, whatever, however you guys want to do it. As soon as you click it, it'll give you the modify ribbon here for you guys to do everything you'd like. This is for you guys to play with, just whatever tools you want. So anyways, we have the chairs, and we're going to click and drag just to play with the space. And then we're going to add, you know what, we're going to add another, we're going to turn this one into a table, into a bigger table, and we'll rotate it like that. And I'm going to use arrow keys just to play with it. That's just how I like to play with my space. Everyone's different. We'll get another one of these right there. Okay, we're going to add some chairs, and I can already tell it's a little too tight, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. We're going to go model, we're going to look for chairs. We don't have chairs. We already knew that, though. And then we're going to go shopping for some chairs. Isn't that fun? I like this one. This one's cute. Maybe a couch as well for that big table. But you guys can do that on your own time. For now, I'm just going to place them here, whatever. Okay, boom. And then I know that I'm going to have some sort of counter here. Do I show you guys that? I think so. It's not super complicated. But if you want to stop here, that's fine as well. You have enough to work with, so I know that's approximately the rough shape of my cafe. So it's giving us room tags. Honestly, just don't worry about that. Like, I don't even know how to move this, to be honest, and I've been doing Revit for 8 years. Oh, like that. So you kind of start to figure things out as you go. It's not a big deal. Try not to goof around too much. But yeah, so now I know the cafe is going to be about this size. We're going to put something else here, maybe a shopping thing here and there. But that's pretty much what we're doing for now. But let's say we go to level 2 and this is our office space. So we can actually see all the way down. And I don't really want that. And also our walls are sticking through. So if I go to 3D, it's a mess. Like, I have not constrained these walls appropriately. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll fix that real quick. So I'm just gonna hold control while I do this. And if you accidentally select this, so see how I can edit the walls? If I select this, it doesn't know what I want anymore. So I'm just gonna make sure I only have walls selected. And then we're gonna go here and we'll connect it to level 2. And then if I go 3D, everything should be fine. It's all at the right height, looking very nice. So we'll go to level 2, and we can see through the floor, but it's grayed out because it's not on the floor. So we'll do quick, maybe one wall. So, I don't know, we'll put it here, whatever. On an angle, who cares? Level 2, and then to level 3. And then we'll go back to 3D, make sure it looks good. That's fine. Okay. We'll go back to level 2, and then we'll insert more chairs. But sometimes what happens is it'll start on level 1. So I can place things from level 1. So if I go to make an office space here and I want chairs here, and then I go to 3D, and I go, why are there chairs on the floor? Well, now you know why there's chairs on the floor. Because we've set the level to level 1, but I want them on level 2. And that mistake will happen a lot with you guys. So if that happens, you know why it happened and how to fix it. Also, the view cube is a little finicky sometimes. When you cross, it'll go like upside down, and it's a little, makes you a little dizzy sometimes. That's okay. We'll go back to level 2. So you put the blocks, you play with what you want, you make your spaces however you want. And for now, I think that's a good start point. At least for me and my partner, that's what we've decided is a good, what we'd like to be done with by Wednesday. So by Wednesday, we're going to have all of these walls in the right spot. Everything's going to be laid out nicely. We'll have optimized the floor plan. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did miss anything, then you guys can talk to me in class. Or our CAD teachers are really good, but I know they're super busy. That's why I wanted to make this video. So just to relieve a bit of stress. And always go with what the CAD teacher's telling you. I'm not the prof, so I might be saying things wrong. Maybe it's the wrong order. If it is, I'm sorry about that. But I'm happy I can help some of you at least get started. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm wondering, yeah, I'll put an announcement in maybe Studio on how to reach me if you guys need to join my Discord or something like that for extra help. But yeah, I'm happy I could help, and I hope this did help. And we'll see you in class.